is my first time, so I'm kind of nervous. So I'm even. Alright, so I guess we'll start now. Alright, everybody, so this is man, I don't even know what to say on my intro. Thank you for your patience. It's my initials, Henry Colin Baracus, and then chemistry. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for, that helped a lot. Alright, everybody, so welcome to a special podcast. So this is the first time I'm ever actually doing an interview, so I'm a little bit nervous. And this is my saltwater tank, but right here with me I got David Rocha, and he's pretty well known, and he has his freshwater tank with us. And and so anyways, David, I wanted to start with your tank, but first I actually wanted to start with your history. How did you get into saltwater fish? I mean into the aquarium hobby, my bad.
She had a small 5-gallon tank, and other than that, I would only see aquariums. Like, I remember going to the dentist as a kid, and I'd be super nervous going to the dentist. You know, no kid likes going to the dentist, but they always had an aquarium there. So I remember just being fascinated by the aquarium at the dentist, and then my cousin, who, like I said, babysat me, she had a 5-gallon tank, and we would go visit, and I would just have my face to the glass, just staring at the fish. I was just fascinated by it, and like it made me feel good. It comforted me, you know. It relaxed me, and so I remember I was about maybe 10, and my parents got me a 5-gallon tank, and then I moved up to a 10-gallon, and some coworker of my dad's was gonna throw away a 50-gallon.
50?
And my dad was like, "You're gonna throw that away?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't want it anymore, you know." And my dad brought it home. Man, it was like, I'll never forget that day, going from a 10-gallon to a 50-gallon. And my dad took me to like Kmart, and we bought the rocks and probably a couple little plants. And I remember this little rock in the middle. It's probably very simple and plain, but I was so excited, man, because it was a 50-gallon, and ever since then, I've loved the hobby my whole life. I've always had aquariums, pretty much my whole entire life, all the way to adulthood.
Yeah.
Right now, I have this is a 65-gallon freshwater tank.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So I see you have a whole bunch of little angels.
Yeah, I have 3 angelfish. They were born in this tank.
Oh, no way, you bred them.
Yeah, I did it by accident, actually. I had no idea. I had a pair. I had no idea they were a male and a female. I had no idea they were a mating pair. I had no idea how to even mate angelfish.
Yeah.
And one day on my filter tube, I saw a bunch of little dots, and I Googled it or YouTubed it and found out they were eggs. And initially, I took the whole filter thing out because they were lined up on there.
Yeah, the little plastic tube.
I read that the eggs get eaten, you know?
Yeah.
So I went and bought a little 5-gallon tank, put it on the other side of the room here, and just dropped that in there. And so I had them there for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
I gave some away, some of them died. So my last remaining of these 3 angelfish, other than that 5-gallon tank for a few months, all they know is this tank. So they were eggs in this tank, you know, and now they're here. So there's 3 of them.
Oh, that's crazy. So just by curiosity, you say your dad upgraded to a little 50-gallon, right?
Yeah.
What color were his rocks? Or do you remember the colors of the rocks?
If I remember right, I think they were red and maybe with white mixed. I think I got like a couple bags of white and a couple bags of red and just kind of mixed them up. If I remember right. It was a long time ago. So.
I see. And then what motivated you to get the black and white gravel this time?
Um, I like the look of it. Uh, right now, it's like it's more natural. What you see is black is and I can't remember what it's called, but it's like fertilized. You know, it's like volcanic
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was this tank was set up with plastic plants. I've always had plastic plants my whole life. This is my first tank with real plants.
Oh no way! Honestly, at first I thought they were plastic plants. That they looked so healthy.
Yeah, no, these are real. So when I bought them, I started with one plant, and the person at the pet store said you need to get some kind of, you know, something with fertilizer in it. And they sold me this like volcanic something, and I guess it has nutrients in it stuff for plants. So I didn't want to take all of my natural rock out, so I just kind of got that and mixed it around. And where there's plants, I put a lot of it. So I can't remember what it's called though right now.
Yeah, I don't know the name either, but I do know volcanic areas are actually very fertile and they could have like a lot of plants and stuff. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I started with one plant, and it just started growing from there. I started with anacris, which is like the simplest of all plants, you know.
I know the anacris. It's the very common one that. Yeah.
Yeah, I started with that first, and but man, once you see a live plant start to flourish, you get excited. And you want another plant, and the next thing you know, these plants start growing. I didn't buy none of these this tall. I mean, they've just grown.
Oh, they actually. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you can see.
Do you have any baby tiers in there, or do you plan on covering the whole bottom of the gravel with like a grass-looking plant?
I tried.
You tried?
And it doesn't grow. Yeah, so I'm not sure why. I would like the whole bottom to be filled like grass, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. That's kind of my next thing I'd love to do.
That's what you want to do? Oh, I'll probably help you. Oh, I see you have these little bubbles. Are those CO2 bubbles or are those oxygen bubbles in the back?
There's yeah, I have CO2. Let me show you.
Oh, so you are running CO2.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's
yeah, I see the line. Because it's usually like one drop per like every 10 seconds or so. I forgot how.
Yeah, so when I first got some plants, they kept dying on me. They would last a while, but you know, plants they say that they melt. In other words, they just kind of start falling apart. They get weak, and so I went and got this light. It's a Frugal 3.0.
I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
You know, so I got that first, and then they're like, you got to check their water parameters. You got to check all that stuff. You know, so I bought a kit to check the parameters because you can't let certain things, you know, the ammonias and stuff get too high. But then my plants were still very weak. They were like real wispy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you could tell they were weak, and I finally started going on YouTube, you know, and they're like, you know, if you put CO2, I never thought of this because it's common knowledge that like trees and plants outside, they breathe in what we breathe out.
Yeah.
You know, so I never put two and two together until the person said it very plainly on a YouTube channel. They're like, listen, if you have a good light for your plants, if you have good nutrients in the water for the plants, none of that is good if they can't breathe.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so that's why you need CO2 to dump some of that in there so they breathe CO2 and then they let out oxygen. Never thought of that. So I went to the pet store and bought this little tiny kit with these little CO2s like this at first.
Yeah, the same one that they use for air guns or whatever. Those. Yeah, airsoft thingies.
I tried that first because I didn't. It felt complicated.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a little kid, and I just screwed it in, and man, after about a month, my plants started growing. They came back green and stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, that's what's been missing. But I kept running out of the CO2. They're expensive. They're like $10.
Yeah.
It would last. It wouldn't last long, you know. So, I'm a paintball player, so I have paint. I have CO2s in my garage.
Oh, see, yeah.
You know? So I started looking and looking and looking, and sure enough, they make a connection to use a CO2 tank like a paintball. Like this.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and they make a special thing for it, you know, and I got it on Amazon, so that's what I use now. And the one I'm using now, this is my backup tank. This is a 12 ounce. The one I use now is a 20 ounce. It costs like $5 to fill it, and it'll last weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh right on. So see that I like that because that way you don't have to buy those big old diving tanks or whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what turned me off to CO2 because I didn't want a big old tank in my living room.
Yeah.
And I didn't. First of all, my wife would have killed me if I would just have a giant CO2 tank sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, but these, it's real easy to hide. You know, it's really simple to hide these, and it lasts a long time. So now I have CO2, the diffuser back there. It's blowing with bubbles everywhere, and plants are doing great.
No, that's really awesome. You know the saltwater guys are gonna love you because in saltwater they use a calcium reactor and they use the CO2 tanks to diffuse the calcium in the reactor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now they figured out. You just gave them an idea to use smaller tanks that are actually portable compared to these big old containers that they use. But that's really cool. Is this?
Yeah, if you go on Amazon, you can find them. You know, I can show you the. I'm gonna move my phone.
Yeah. Show us. I know because my tank's the same way. I wish I could get even. I'll move my camera closer.
So here's my system for CO2. Let me move my globe here. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see them. It's really nice.
So this is a 20 tank. This whole thing I got on Amazon that just connects to the top of it with an adapter. You know, there's the little bubbles. You can see the bubbles.
The little bubble counter.
Yeah. And that's it. Look, it's nice and hidden. And it's not in the way. It's not ugly. You kind of hide it by putting a globe here. You know? And there it is. You know?
It looks really good.
Yeah.
So which is your fastest growing plant, or which plant you feel benefited the most from the CO2?
You know, I have had probably 6 different plants, and the only ones that seem to thrive in here, I don't even know the names of it. But these that get long, I only had a few of them, and I have to keep cutting them, and I replant them.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
starting to really fill up. I wish I could tell you the name of it.
That's not an anacris one. It's a different type.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
different.
Yeah.
It's different.
And then I see something that looks kind of like what is it? Amazon. What's it called? The Amazon swords in the back or something.
That is really, really taken to the CO2. You can see it back there, the tall. That was really small when I bought it. Look how big it's growing.
God, honestly, give it some time and that thing will take over as grass. Wow, that looks really good.
Now, I have this other plant. I don't know if you can see it. This one right here is like really wispy. See, it kind of moves. So those are the 3 plants I have. The Amazon, these tall ones, and then this wispy one here.
Yeah. I wish I would remember. Honestly, I worked in the aquarium shop for 5 years, and honestly, I always forget the names of all of them.
Yeah.
So I feel you.
And I have, you know, these are 3 pieces of driftwood, and I kind of created this little thing. Every few months I'll move it around, change it around. Right now, it's 3 pieces. It looks like 1 piece, but it's 3 pieces of driftwood. But yeah.
I have a question. You know, driftwood usually it releases dye in the water. What did you do to prevent the dye, or did you just over time you just waited it out?
I boiled it.
You boiled it? Yeah, see? So tell us about that process, because there's a lot of people that don't even know what we're talking about. So,
Yeah, well, that driftwood, when you buy it, it floats, and it releases tannins. Tannins is like coffee.
yeah.
You know, and it makes the water brown, and that looks ugly, unless you're looking for that look. Because actually, people are now getting into that look.
Yeah.
Of everything looking dead in their tank, so they release tannins, they'll get driftwood, they'll get old leaves, they want that look, but normally you don't want that look. So by boiling it, it forces it to release its tannins, and it also causes it to get waterlogged, so it doesn't float. So by boiling it, it accomplishes those two things. I've heard some people say that they boiled it and their water still gets brown. Mine didn't. You know, I had 3 pieces here, and my water never got brown. But I boiled it for a good maybe half hour. I mean, really boiling. And that water was all brown. So it forced it to release the tannins.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. So, what size tank is that?
Oh, mine's a little 2-gallon little reef tank. It's a little mixed reef, and I have a little variety of coral. It's actually my little show tank. I take it everywhere, so if I have like a little show or take it somewhere, I could just, it's portable, honestly. So I mean, yeah, I carry it with me. So I have this little blue container that I could literally pick it up and just move it. It's so light.
Wow.
Yes.
So there's no fish in there?
No, there's no fish in here. It's only coral. I wish I could have a fish, but in the summer, because we kind of live in the same area, it gets really hot, and this tank gets like around 94 degrees sometimes, and I have to throw like solid ice cube bottles, 3 of them a day to lower it down to try to maintain it like at 84, and it's still high. So for a fish, you know, it's not that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never done saltwater. I have 2 good friends of mine that have saltwater tanks. You know, so the only 2 friends that I'm close to that are into the hobby are both saltwater tanks.
They're both saltwater. Me on both. I love the plants, and because honestly, in freshwater, I would only go with the plants because I love seeing the evolution of it grow.
Yeah.
Ponds and saltwater tanks are my thing. Like having all the artificial stuff. Like I've been there and done that when I was a kid, and I like to see things grow. You know what I mean? And one thing we focus on a lot is on pH of the water. And I was gonna ask you that when we're talking about the tannins, because a lot of people call that. They even gave it a name, because I found out the name they call it like Blackwater Aquariums or something like that.
Yeah, Blackwater Aquariums. That's right.
Yeah. So I was like, what? At first, I was kind of laughing, because back then I would put in a piece of driftwood or release all that stuff. We wanted it out, and now people are trying to, like how you said it, it's just it's kind of funny, but it makes sense how they want to recreate like the natural look. But I was wondering,
Yeah, I think those are cool. If you get fish that live in that environment, then you want to give them the environment naturally to them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was gonna ask you. In fresh water, a lot of people don't worry about the pH, but in fresh water, pHs could range from acidic 4 to as high as a basic 8, like in salt water. And I was wondering, what pH are you running your aquarium, or if how familiar are you with the pH scales?
You know, I have my water kit, and one thing I don't do is check the pH. I don't. I did check it in the beginning to see how the city water was.
Yeah.
And once I found that it was in the range that is safe for tropical fish, I never worried about it ever since. So if I open my kit for my water kit, my bottles for pH are full. So
Oh, I was wondering, what's your target pH though?
You know, I don't even know. I'm not sure. I just remember checking the gauge and checking where it should be, and it was right there. So I'm just like, honestly, that's not something I even worry about.
That's not something you worry about.
Maybe that's why some of the other plants died. I don't know.
That's what I was going. Yeah, I'm glad you actually said that. So I'm glad you figured that out. Yeah, it's just that a lot of plants they live in different areas, so the water based on the geology of the area, it will have a different acidics. Some most plants will survive like in neutral water around 7, maybe even slightly acidic or basic, but around that area. But some plants more than others are more specialized and they like either more acidic or more basic water. And maybe certain that could be one reason. Another reason, what I would do is there's these little fertilizer pills, and you break them up and then spread them out, literally throw it, and then try adding them close to it. But if that doesn't work, I think it's just a pH thing, or it might be a lighting thing. But I can see you have really good lights. Well, I mean, they look really strong.
Yeah, no, it is. Like I think, like I said, having live plants is a new thing for me. Pretty much like through the pandemic, right before the pandemic, that's when I switched over to live plants, and even during the pandemic, that's when I went complete because everybody's at home and I was bored, and I'm just like, man, I want to do something, so I started switching into live plants. I did get those pellets to put fertilizer to the gravel. I got the light, so I kind of figured the last thing was the pH as far as why some plants live and some plants don't.
Yeah.
So whatever my pH is, which I should check, it'd be interesting to see because that lets me know that these plants do good in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is something I want to dive into.
Yeah, because from the looks of it, it looks pretty neutral, maybe like around a 7 or like a 6-8.
Yeah.
But you know pine trees, right? You ever notice where you see all the pine needles? There's never really that much grass there.
Yeah.
And the reason is that a lot of pine trees they make the ground around them more acidic, so other plants will grow there. So that's why you see pine forests and you won't see nothing but pines. So in a way that's their kind of like a way for them to survive. So yeah, like I said, like pH is a pretty big thing for sure for plants.
Yeah.
But
man, that's cool.
Yeah, honestly, it might just be a lack of nutrients because your gravel looks pretty clean, or I don't know. Do you gravel vac your tank? How's your water changes and stuff, or your maintenance schedule?
I probably do good. Maybe it's a 65-gallon tank, so when I do water changes, I do 15-gallon. I take out 15 gallons.
Uh-huh.
I do that probably every other week. A lot of people say to do it weekly. I don't. I get real busy. I pastor a church and I get really, really busy.
Yeah.
So probably every other week, so maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll change out 15 gallons of water. If I move my rocks around, stuff comes up.
Okay.
So I don't like to disturb a lot of that because I know the plants got to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few open spaces where I do vacuum there. Right here in the front, there's no plants right here in the front, so I kind of clean that up. But for the most part, I don't try to clean up the rocks too much because of that, because I know the plants need that nutrition from the waste of the fish.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because I always tell people, if you have plants, I don't recommend a gravel vac or anything. But
yeah.
You said you gravel vac the front, but that's why I assume it looks so clean. I'm like, it looks really clean.
Yeah, this whole part right here where there's no plants.
Yeah.
I'll do that just because it's more eye pleasing when people come over.
Yeah, the presentation's everything, huh?
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. So filtration wise, what are you running in your filters?
I'm actually running 2 different filters. I have an exterior filter, Canister. I can show you that right now. And then I actually have a hanging filter in the back. The reason being is the hanging over filter, I have more of a polishing pad in there just to keep the water clear.
Yeah, to remove like the larger solids and stuff.
Yeah, but then I have a canister. Let me show you that. I'm going to turn the light on.
Yeah, go for it. You have a little fluval?
Yeah. Yeah, let me show it to you. So I have it. See where this is where the CO2 tank is, and I have it hidden right here.
Oh, wow, nice. What kind of fluval is that?
This is a 306.
306? Man, I remember I had the 204 or the like or 203. I had like 3 or 4 generations before that. I'm just amazed how high they're going.
And I have this one up here, but more of a
The
polishing.
Whisper.
It's a Marine Land.
Oh, Marine Land.
It's a brand new one. I just put this in because the other one I had it for years and it broke, and I got tired of changing the propeller, changing things, so I just went ahead and bought this new one. This has only been here about 3 weeks.
I see. So. God, I'm supposed to remember. So why did you chose that kind with the little roller pads compared to the other filters?
I don't know. I just like it.
Me too. I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Honestly, I like it. I like the way it looks. It makes for good conversation when people come because they see the thing spinning, and I don't know, people get it.
Bio wheels. That's what it's called, right? God.
Bio wheels.
God, I forgot that. And I used to sell those all the time. Yeah, honestly, I really love that one with the bio wheels, cause you could take out those bio wheels and swap it out to a tank, so you don't have to cycle an aquarium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So anyway, let's talk about that. How did you cycle your aquarium, or could you tell the audience what exactly cycling means, or when did you add your first fish?
I actually bought this tank used. I bought it on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace.
Uh-huh.
And the guy that was selling it said that he was moving, he couldn't take it with him, and he says, I have fish in there. He goes, so I didn't want to empty it out because I have a lot of good bio in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So it came with 3 fish, 3 gouramis, and he did. So when I went to pick it up, he had it emptied out. He emptied it out that day that I was on my way, but he had a bucket with all the media, everything, including everything inside of his filters. He had bio wheels also, all of that in the water.
Uh-huh.
So I guess you could say I cheated because it's already treated water.
Yeah.
So I started off in a good start. So I brought it all. It was never dry. It was never allowed to dry out. I instantly put water in it, treated the water, put the filter, the bio wheels, all the bio inside. And that's kind of what started it, with that person. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
So because they gave me a good head start. I set my tank up, and I put those 3 gouramis in there. So that's creating also, because they're creating waste and whatnot. And maybe I just waited like a week.
A week? Right on.
The gouramis were fine. They were healthy. They were good. So that's when I went and got some fish.
And then by curiosity, did it have gravel, or using the same gravel or the same media as
he had gravel too.
Yeah.
So I used some of that. Yeah. Some. That's what I like too, because he was using natural rock, and that's what I was planning on using also.
Oh, right on. That's good. So you're using like a brown color rock or something?
Yeah, like brownish, beige, and white.
Yeah. I love the natural look. I love the natural color or solid black.
Yeah.
Well, black mostly for a camera, but the natural look is always my favorite.
Yeah. So he didn't have plants in it or anything, so he had a very thin amount. So I went ahead and bought more bags because I knew I wanted to use plants later. And so yeah, I think I had a good head start because it was ready to go pretty much.
Yeah, I see. And I noticed you have a thick sand bed, or a thick layer of media. Why? Could you explain to people why you went with the thicker inch media or gravel compared to like a 1-inch layer?
Well, because mainly for plants. Well, actually, another thing is I'm also running an under gravel filter.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So
my pump went out, and only one of them is working. And so actually, I don't know if you can see it.
That's very unique. An under gravel filter with the. Oh God! You know what? You just gave me an idea. That's why I like talking to people, because they give me different ideas.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I grew up old school, man. I grew up with under gravel filters, when I got this tank, I went and bought an undergravel filter. I know a lot of people don't use them.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, they have worked. They've always worked. They're low maintenance. I like the fact that it creates its own ecosystem in a sense. You know,
Yes.
it makes the gravel. It makes your gravel the filter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It sucks the water through the rocks, which brings all that fish poop and stuff into the rocks. And because there's oxygen constantly flowing through it, it allows it to kind of grow into good bacteria. And yeah, so I have an undergravel filter. I have the overhead filter for polishing the water, and then I have the canister to really just clean that water up.
You know, that makes a lot of sense because honestly, it takes a fish guy to really know that. Because honestly, a lot of people, what they do with the plants is that they change out the entire gravel bed after a few years because they say it gets really nasty, and it might make sense, right? Because of there's no oxygen flowing through. But doing it your way, it just made a lot of sense for people to put an undergravel filter on their planted tanks. That way, they don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why my gravel's so thick, because it has to be. If it's the undergravel is not effective unless you have at least 2 inches on it. From what I know, you know, and plus live plants, so you want those plants to have enough to root into. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed you had an elbow joint on there. Is that because the tube wasn't long enough to go all the way to the top, or? On the.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't long enough, so yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering. Okay. No, that's cool. And another thing is because back then, like around 2009 to 2015, people really were using undergravel filter. It was almost like a lost art kind of thing, and then it started coming out back with a vengeance, and I noticed even stores started carrying them a lot more. But that's.
I'm not even sure why people stopped using them. I don't know. I've just always liked them.
Yeah, I love them too. I like them too. And then by curiosity, like the reason, like. I would wonder if people would use an undergravel filter for saltwater, because like in my tank, what I do is I actually take out the entire sand in the bottom. Like I prefer not to run my aquarium with any sand or anything, just to try to keep that sterile environment. But I literally just try to take out all the sand with like a little tube, and like I said, if I had like a little undergravel filter, it would probably help a lot. But like I said, most people don't even mess with that in saltwater. But like I said, I really love seeing like old technology and talking to people that know stuff. So you might know a few things I probably don't even know. But but by curiosity, I see you have a lot of fish in there. What kind of fish you have?
I have the three angelfish. I have these American flagfish. I have 2 of those. And my favorite is this blue one. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah, the Jack Dempsey, or what's it called? Yeah.
No, it's an electric.
Oh shit, the blue Aquarium. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have 2 plecos. One of them is it's a dwarf pleco, because I know they get really big, so I didn't want that. And the other one is a vampire pleco.
Oh, I know.
There's no way you'll see him because he usually comes out when it's dark, but it's beautiful. If you've ever seen a vampire pleco.
Yeah.
I black with white polka dots.
Yeah. I love. I sold so many. There's the zebra ones, the green phantoms. I got my cousin the white one, the albino blue eyes one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we sell those all the time. Oh yeah, but by curiosity, you said you bred your angels. Was there anything special that you did to breed them, or you just kept? Well, I always tell people just keep them fat and happy.
I asked that at the pet store, at the fish store where I go. I asked them, and they know that I feed my fish really good food. I don't feed them flakes. I hardly feed them any dry food. I feed them a lot of frozen food.
Yeah.
So once in a while I'll get live food, but for the most part, a lot of frozen food, a lot of bloodworms and brine shrimp. And they think that's why, because I was just giving them just really, really nutritiously packed food. And that's what I feed them every day. They eat frozen food every day, so.
I see. You ever feed them live tubiflex or live bloodworms?
I have sometimes as a treat. I'll get some bloodworms, sometimes brine shrimp.
Oh, okay, right on. And when you bred them, were those the only fish in the tank, or did you have all those other ones in there?
No, it was a community tank. That's why I took the eggs out, because the angelfish are getting very violent to the other fish, because angelfish are weird. They get very protective, and then they themselves eat the eggs.
Yeah, yeah.
My understanding is they eat the eggs because they figure they're gonna get eaten anyways when there's in a community tank.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
My understanding. So, but yeah, that's why I don't have the parents anymore. They got way too big, way too vicious. They kept laying eggs over and over and over. And I went to the aquarium shop, and I'm like, listen, I can't have these angels anymore. They're terrorizing all the other fish. They're constantly laying eggs. I said, but I don't want them to be split up. And what they told me was, they said when somebody brings in angelfish that have mated, they mate for life. Like,
Yeah.
it's really hard to find, so they won't separate them. You know, so once they know they're a mating pair, you have to buy them as a pair.
No, that's very true, and that's very common among cichlids or whatever. Because the blue rams are the same way. I had a pair of blue rams, and the male died and the female died shortly after. So yeah. So that's very true. But by curiosity, like what were your? Usually, I find that cichlids that depending on their temperament or their individual behavior, that sometimes they could be really good parents and they'll raise their fry for a good size, but eventually after, like you said, a certain size, they'll kill them and lay more eggs. So that makes a lot of sense that you took them out, especially in the community. But I thought one of those were the parents. I was like, man, we could use some babies. No.
Oh no, they're all three are siblings. Yeah, they're three right here. Yeah. I think they're all males, actually. I think they're all males. I'm not positive.
From the looks of it, they do look like pretty big males, because the way their fins are.
Usually the male angelfish have that little bump on their forehead too.
Yeah. Honestly, you could flip them over. If they have 2 dots in the bottom, they're females, and 1 dot for a male.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, for Central and South American cichlids, African cichlids, I don't know if that rule applies.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is just one way we used to distinguish them in when we were trying to sell them. But that's really.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite YouTuber for aquariums?
Oh man, that's gonna be me. Nah. Oh man, for salt or freshwater.
I'll tell you mine.
God, tell me yours.
I really like the King of DIY.
Oh, I seen that guy. Yeah, he was mostly a freshwater guy, but he started doing saltwater recently.
Yeah, he's in Canada.
Yeah, he's in Canada. Yeah, last time I was watching his videos, he had like a snowstorm, but this is like a year ago.
Yeah.
He was.
I like him because he knows a lot. He says things very, very plain for the average person to understand. You know, and then he's a funny guy. So.
All right.
What channel do you like?
God, well, I'll just tell you a few cool channels. There's a channel. Well, a few guys I respect in a way. And certain things, like there's Reef Builders. This guy named Reef Builders. Inappropriate Reefer, he's cool. Tidal Gardens is cool. And then there's this lady in Australia. She does these frag files. I forgot what, Aquatic Galleria or something like that. They're pretty cool, but I kind of don't. I mean, I do watch fish videos, but I honestly watch new people, like the new guys that do new videos, and then I usually just try to help them out.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird that, I mean, that's how I kind of guess met you, but like I said, I just watch different videos of different people, and then but really, I kind of watch everybody, to tell you the truth. But those are different guys I respect. The guy, the DUI guy. Those is the other guy that does freshwater, the co-op guy.
Oh yeah, him too. Yeah.
It's just I'm not.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
He's kind of a bald with like a little goatee with his wife. I think they have a fish. I think they have an aquarium store.
Yeah. God, there's a lot of. I forgot I forgot their name. Yeah. There's quite a few, but like I said, I'm mostly dedicated now and actually trying to grow my own channel. But like, yeah, I do respect a lot of other people. But like I said, it's different topics that they talk about.
Yeah.
Because in terms of like chemistry wise, I wouldn't trust any of them with my fish tank in terms of chemistry. But in terms of like their knowledge of like corals or stuff like that, like it's really cool. Like for me, like I actually started a YouTube channel when YouTube first came out, and I can't access that account anymore. I don't know why, or I'm trying to like just put like that. But like I was originally doing YouTube videos for saltwater tanks when it first came out on 2006 or something like that. But I was doing saltwater tanks even before that, before there was even YouTube. Like we actually had to read and stuff and figure things out. But, or even in freshwater, I always had to read. But like now you could just watch like pretty much one video and pretty much grasp an idea of what to do. It's pretty crazy.
Another two fish I completely forgot is I have 2 clown loaches. That painting above my
That's all I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite freshwater fish is a clown loach. I have 2 of them here. I bought them really small, and they're a good size now. I'm not sure where they're at right now, but yeah. So I painted that, and I just put it up there.
God, I love loaches. The clown loach is one of my favorite loaches. Actually, it probably is my favorite loach also. I mean, there's yo-yo loaches. There's a whole bunch of loaches, but the clown loach is pretty special. And then I like them. I had a curiosity. You ever added Cardinals in your aquarium? The Cardinal Tetras?
Not in this tank. Growing up, and also in my, I think the tank I had when I was in my 20s, I think I had a 50-gallon, and yeah, I had a small school of Cardinal Tetras. Yeah,
Cardinal. Yeah, it's just that you have your tank looks pretty peaceful. I mean, the blue guy in the back seems like the most aggressive guy in there, but. Your angels seem pretty peaceful, because I had different encounters. Either angels are really peaceful or really aggressive. It's one of those fish.
The parents of these angels were aggressive. These guys, I don't know what it is. They're just super chill. Once in a while, they'll bump faces themselves, but not really. You know, it's a really peaceful tank. That's why I'm really careful when adding new fish.
Yeah.
The dynamics, you know, and right now it's a really peaceful tank, and my reason for having a tank is to give me peace. So the last thing I want is drama in the tank.
yeah, that's very true. And by curiosity, your lights in saltwater lighting's really important. Like what Kelvin temperature are you running your lights at, or what Kelvin temperature your lights naturally come in?
Wow, you got me there.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's that. I'll explain to you. For Kelvin temperatures, it ranges from, it could go low, but like let's say around the 2000 range, you're looking at like a candle flame, like a reddish color. And then once you go to a 20,000 Kelvin temperature, you're looking at a blue spectrum, and that's pretty much right now it's like at around 20K. My tank, your tank's running around like a 6, 7, 8,000 Kelvin, maybe even a 10. But what that means is that stars, depending on how bright they are, they're burning at a certain Kelvin temperature, and the redder it is, or the less heat or the less hotter it is, the temperature or the Kelvin temperature is lower, and the brighter it is, the hotter it burns. It's bluer, and the Kelvin temperature is higher. So that's when lighting. People often talk about Kelvin temperature. Makes
sense, because on a stove, in the center of it, the flame is white and blue.
Yeah, exactly. And usually there's scientists, people in the aquarium hobby, or people that do cameras and stuff. People that worry about lighting, they focus on that. And by curiosity, since you're old school, what kind of lighting are you using? Are you using LEDs, or are you using the T8s or T5s?
No, this is the Frugal 3.0 is the
LED, and you're running one long strip throughout the whole thing. Right on.
It's one long strip. Let me see, and it's set on a timer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's set on a timer. It turns on at the same exact time every single day, and it shuts off. The Frugal 3.0 allows me to have a sunrise. So at 10:30, the lights start really dim, and it has a slow transition from 10:30 to 11, and then it's full blown at 11 until I think 4 o'clock, and then it knocks back down, maybe half of whatever the brightness was, and then at a certain time it just shuts off.
Oh, so you program it at different intensities throughout the day.
Yeah. The most intensities right now from 11 until about 4.
So you're actually copying the kind of like the lights, like the natural sunrise, sunset, the light cycle.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Does it have moonlights? Do you put moonlights in that at night?
It does if I want, but I don't.
There-
I was having an algae problem.
Yeah.
It was a black beard where it's like.
Oh yeah, that black nasty one.
It doesn't scrub off or nothing, and so I don't do any lights. It can if I want, like a nice blue. You know, if somebody's over for dinner, I might put it on just to look nice at night and just like this nice blue glowy light. But yeah, for the most part, that's why I don't even turn the lights on. They turn on by themselves at 10:30. Back before, I would have it on. I'd wake up in the morning, say I woke up at 7:30, I'd turn the lights on to feed them. And then I wouldn't turn it off until I'd go to bed, like, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Oh no way.
Man, the algae was insane, so it's on its regiment now, and the algae problem has almost diminished completely.
So how did he start getting rid of your algae problem? Because algae is a huge problem. My tank, I mean, it looks crystal clear now, but before I added the hermit crabs and the snails, I mean, I had a huge algae problem. How did you handle your algae problem?
Mostly the light. Well, that's another reason why I got into CO2, because they told me, and that's another reason why I got into live plants.
Yeah.
They said if you have live plants are bigger. So they use all the nutrients in the water, and they basically starve out the algae.
Yeah, they outcompete with them.
So that's one reason I started with the live plants. Oh, there's my cloud loaches. Let's see. They're in the corner there. Oh, wait, they left. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, I saw a glimpse of them. They're huge. I thought I was expecting little ones.
No, they're broad. So the light regiment, live plants, has pretty much eliminated a whole lot of the algae. It still has some. If you go close, you can still see it. I still got to scrub the front of the glass.
Yeah.
It's about ready. It's about ready for scrubbing now.
No, it looks good. Just by curiosity, what's the biggest clown loach you ever seen?
In person?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 inches, but on YouTube, man, they got some huge ones.
No, man, that's crazy. No, the biggest one I seen was actually like that big, like a good foot long. I didn't believe it until I saw it. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's just not a loach. But then I found out they get pretty big. I'm like, whoa.
Did it keep its color, or the bigger it gets, does the pigmentation of the color go away?
It stayed the same. It was actually solid. It was really nice. It looked like just a big old clown loach. It looked the same.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what you feed it. Especially if you're feeding that stuff you're feeding, the bloodworms and all that frozen food. Yours are always gonna have a really nice coloration. Cause I noticed in pellets they usually put like hormones and stuff, or like color hormones. I know they all carry them, but you feed a lot of pellets to your fish? Because I noticed your blue Acara, it's really blue. I mean, sometimes I see them kind of go like a pale black, but yours seems like a pretty bright.
Yeah, that's all frozen food. I used to have a what was he? Man, I can't remember what he was. A Sevra.
Oh
use
yeah, the red severums.
orange severum.
Orange
So I
severum.
would feed them pellets with color enhancer in it.
Oh yeah. But you,
So it was like really orange, you know, but I don't have them anymore. I had to take them back because he got too big for the tank.
yeah. What would you feeding them? The red parrot foods, the color enhancement red parrot one.
Yeah, the red pepper.
Yeah, those are the ones I always recommended people get the red parrot. Those color your fish really well.
So I do have this one, but I don't feed them that often, honestly.
Oh, the Omega One, dude. I like that company because they make really good salt and freshwater foods.
Yeah. But mostly, like I said, I've had some of this. I'm already running out.
Bug
Bug
bites.
bites. But like I said, they eat probably 90% frozen food.
90% frozen. Wow, because your tank looks really clear. Because a lot of people always ask me, oh, how do you keep your aquarium clear? So, what do you run in your media reactor? Are you running activated carbon or?
I have activated carbon. I have the media, the little white. I don't know what they're called.
The little ceramic ones, the bio,
Yeah.
the bio ceramic thingies. Yeah.
Yeah, the bioceramic. I have a lot of that. I have carbon fiber. I have filter pads that are polishing. That way it really gets into the water. Really takes the small particles out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have any. Oh, I feed my plants this too.
Thrive. What exactly is that? That's a new brand that I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's plant fertilizer, and I saw really good reviews on YouTube,
Just
and I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to order it from Amazon,
interesting. Oh,
and this is for plants.
so
I'll just squirt in like 4 times, maybe once or twice a week, and that's it.
just by curiosity, what does it have? Potassium,
Let's see.
phosphates.
Wow. You know what? It's so small.
It's all right.
Potassium, magnesium,
Calcium, iron.
copper, iron. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because honestly, I like it just because you said iron. Because in saltwater, I couldn't grow saltwater plants to save me, and it wasn't until I added iron, and I just took it from the freshwater section and added iron, and my saltwater plants finally started growing. So I highly recommend iron for sure.
I was given this, but I traded it out for that.
Flourish.
Yeah. I
Because
don't know.
Flourish makes different chemicals of. Man, it's because Flourish has its own product line, and I forget.
Yeah, it says comprehensive supplement for the planted aquarium, microelements, trace elements, and other nutrients.
Yeah, it's
The
gonna.
bottle's still full. The bottle's still full. I use that other stuff instead.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I mean, this has calcium, magnesium, sulfur, cobalt, copper, iron, manganese, and zinc. I don't know.
Man, that's crazy. And then what kind of water are you using? Are you using filter water or are you using tap water and adding a little bit of prime or water conditioner in there?
Yeah, I use tap water with water conditioner.
What's your favorite water conditioner to use?
Oh man, I don't even know which one I got. I think I got a really basic one. This water here in Stockton is pretty good. Honestly, it's well conditioned, and the fish just. I can see the basic this.
Oh, the stress coat, the API. Yeah.
But honestly, this water here, the city water, does really good with aquarium fish.
That's really good. I like it.
Where do you live at?
Me in San Jose, but right now, I also stay in Los Baños and then sometimes in Fresno.
Okay, so you're not that far from me.
Yeah, I'm not that far. Honestly, we could have done this. Like, I could have just gone to you and we just done it there.
No, it's all good.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Gotta try that. I just had a question and I totally forgot what I was gonna say. All right. Oh, and just by curiosity, that's a blue that's a male Acaro, right? Not you
I
ever?
believe it's a blue. Yeah.
It looks like a male. You ever plan on getting him a little girl or no?
No. He's a chunky fish, though. I keep joking with my wife and say he's starting to look like a tilapia. I'm a barbecue him.
Man, but what do you do to keep your tank that clear? You don't do anything, right?
Just well, the 3 filters.
Just the 3 filters.
That in itself.
And you change your carbon every month, right?
Yeah, I try to. Matter of fact, the last time I did, I cleaned out my canister. Though I didn't realize I was out of carbon. So I haven't. There's no carbon in it right now at all. I already had the canister open, and I was like, man, so I just put it all back together without carbon.
That's really good. And what water temperature do you usually run your aquarium?
Right now, it's at 82.
It's 82? Yeah, it gets pretty hot. So, wait, how do you maintain it so cool? Is it just because of the larger volume?
I think so. Yeah, probably because of the larger volume. And I mean, it's in my living room. I usually have the air condition set to a certain temperature, so the house stays cool all the time.
Oh, that's really good.
And it's a big body of water, so. I noticed some people in other states, they have problems keeping their temperature down.
Yeah, I have a summer heat temperature problem. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine because it's a small amount of water.
Yeah, and this room gets really hot, so it doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, by curiosity, have you ever thought about getting saltwater fish or anything like that? A little tank or anything like that?
I have thought of it. It intimidates me. My 2 friends that have saltwater, there's nothing to be intimidated by it. I mean, they talk to me. They know I like this tank, but they've always said, well, maybe you can get a smaller supplemental, little saltwater just to dabble into it, So I'm sure in time I'll do it. Right now I'm just trying to. I'm still trying to get this thing dialed into to where I'm completely happy.
No, that makes sense.
That'll ever happen.
No, that makes sense. But like I said, you just gotta dive in. But I wanted to put the camera closer to you. I mean, closer to my tank. But hold on, how do I take it off the tripod? I'm not sure if you're able to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
All right, there you go. Yeah, so I mean
That's what I like about saltwater is all the plants, everything, the coral, it's all living.
Yeah, and it keeps growing. Like you see, hold on, I'm trying to keep it as stable as I can. All right. You see this guy? This guy's a little frog spawn, and this guy started with 1 head, and now it's got 4. It's pretty soon going to 8, and I need to find a home for these guys pretty soon. And then like these Rocha'S, I'm not sure if you're able to see them right there, but these polyps right here, like I said, I started with 2, and then I got a whole bunch now, and like I said, I'm just waiting for them to start growing more. And a lot of people are already asking me for frags of these guys. And today that I'm recording right now, I'm expecting a coral on its way. It was supposed to be here yesterday, but I'm hoping it's still alive when it gets here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
but like I said, if you ever set up a saltwater tank, I could give you some of these coral for free.
Okay.
And like I said, it's only a little 2-gallon tank. Like I wanted to walk through you with all my tanks if you want. All right, yeah. So this is the lighting I got. It's a little Kessel. They make these in the FRESHWATER version also. So if you ever upgrade your lighting, these are really the best lights ever. Because I'm not sure if you noticed on your lights, you notice like this disco multicolor effect at the bottom of the gravel sometimes. Or it might be far enough where you don't notice it. But
I don't notice it.
Yeah, but if you put your lights like at a shallower depth, you get like the little disco light, and this light.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like a little spotlight effect. This one has only one lens, so all the LEDs are under one lens, so it evenly distributes all the colors on there. But yeah, that's my lighting. But for filtration wise, it's not that complicated. All I have is a little return pump in the back, and a little heater, and these little cartridges that I never change them out. I just keep them for the bacterial, in case I want to set up another one. I might have to because the corals just keep growing. But that's pretty much all I do. And then since I don't have any fish or anything, I don't really need to change a lot of water or anything. I only change water maybe like once a month or once every month and a half or so. Like every water change I'm trying to do like the YouTube video, and then pretty much in saltwater, our filtration is really all the media we got inside the aquarium. So the best filtration we got are actually all the rocks in there. That's what houses all our bacteria. For sand, I honestly don't like sand, but I added some black sand just for just to prevent algae from growing in the bottom of the glass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then for water-wise, I'll show you what water I use. I use reverse osmosis. Normally I have my own filter, but I don't have a filter where this tank's at. But I buy this water at Target, and you have to buy the blue one. I tried the green one, but it crashed my tank. It crashed this aquarium. But the blue one works really good, and then I mix it with the salt that I make. So this is the salt that I actually mix all the elements in here, because I pretty much know chemistry, and I wouldn't trust anyone with my tank or my water. So I just mixed it myself, and then just do my normal water change like that. And I only change a little bit. If you change more than half, even in fresh water, I noticed you could kill stuff if you change more than half of the water.
Yeah, that's why I only do 15 gallons at a time.
Yeah, but it's pretty simple. Well, oh shit. Well, what's the pH of your local city water?
Man, I don't know. I just honestly, like I said, I just go by the chart. Here's my kit.
Yeah, the little API kit.
Yeah. God, I don't remember, man. I wish I could answer you. I don't remember. I don't want to sound like I don't care. I remember when I first set up, I remember the pH was very neutral, and I was happy with that, and I just never kept up on that.
Oh, I see. So it's around 7 then. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Then I had a question and I totally lost it. God, I totally forgot. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, salts. Oh yeah, so what do you know about, like, the way that fishes function? Like, do you add any aquarium salt to your water or anything like that? No?
No, I have aquarium salt because at one point, one of the fish got sick, and I had a separate little 5-gallon tank, so I bought some aquarium salt. But that's the only time. Other than that, I just have a bag here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't add any salt at all.
You don't add any salt? No, that's good. Yeah, cause I was gonna set up another one of these little tanks, but I was gonna make it a little freshwater, but I was gonna do it so I could promote like selling salts for for fresh water, because for fish, even if I use this water, it could kill your fish, or even kill the saltwater fish or anything. I mean the corals, if the water's too pure or whatever. Because fresh water, the fish, they kind of operate opposite of saltwater fish. Like for freshwater fish, they constantly urinate, and they're trying to keep salt in their body, and saltwater fish, they hardly to never urinate because they want to maintain that fresh water in the body.
Really?
Yeah. So if you ever see a really stressed out freshwater fish, throw a lot of a salt. Cause I used to work at a store, and when all the feeder goldfish were dying, they're all in the surface. I would throw like literally this whole bag of salt in the 50-gallon tank that it was, and all the fish would go out fine. And they add basically salt from the ocean in people like in the IVs or whatever. There's basically a lot of sodium chloride and potassium chloride and like different minerals. And these same minerals found in the ocean are actually beneficial for plants. Maybe not the sodium chlorides at high concentrations, but like all the other elements like the magnesium, the magnesium sulfate, calcium, the potassium in the salt, it helps them actually thrive more. So in terms of salts that I would probably recommend for your aquarium, because they make the salts in liquid bottles, I would look into the potassium, and also Epsom salt.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of Epsom salt to the aquarium. It'll help your fish, but also your plants. And it's a natural plant fertilizer. It even says on the bag, and you can buy it at the pharmacy or even at a dollar store. And that's like that's just one salt of many like found in the ocean. You know what I mean? And so I was gonna do like another tank like that, but like I always tell people what salts to kind of add if I see them struggle with their plants and stuff. But,
yeah, I've never knew that.
Yeah, but it's just a different, just a different information. But yeah, it's like I always like to know what people know in particular in the hobby. Like try to extract as much information. But what else about your aquarium do you like the most? Or like what knowledge do you have for us that secretly stored that I'm not asking? What's something that
I think, first of all, I think you've asked a lot of good questions. I think somebody, which I already talked about, is the undergravel filter that people don't use anymore. I would say that because it keeps water flowing and oxygen flowing through the rock bed, and that to me that's better than just the thing going. Can you imagine just the rocks? For me, without the undergravel filter, all that fish poop and stuff just settles and it just kind of rots there.
Yeah.
And I believe that the undergravel filter, by forcing water and forcing oxygen in there, it forces it to become a good, healthy fertilizer. So I think for me, new people to the hobby, is the fact that they are not using undergravel filters. And I think that's my secret thing, is that because even the plants are getting a lot of oxygen and fresh water forced through it because of the undergravel filter.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because even land plants, they're highly dependent on bacteria in the soil, and if in your tank you have nothing but really bad bacteria for your plants, it's not really good. So
that's a good example, because if a plant is planted in stagnant water in a pond somewhere, it's gonna rot the roots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if it's flowing water, fresh water, then it's good bacteria and it's healthy for the roots. So I guess in the same way, that's why I like the undergravel filter.
Yeah, I mean it makes a lot of sense. That's why you gave me an idea when you said you had an undergravel filter in the plant. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, oh, you gave me an idea. Yeah. That made a lot of sense, because then I could transfer that into maybe saltwater and run like larger coarse gravel, because nobody really likes to clean their sand bed in saltwater or even in freshwater for that matter. And
it gets messy.
Yeah, I'm a big component of graveling or no gravel period. But when you have plants, it's a whole different story. You gotta have all that stuff. But that makes a lot of sense. But I like that. And then for your stand, is it a custom built stand or is it the one that just you buy
When I bought it, it came with the stand. It looks like it's just a basic aquarium stand with the two drawers that open to
Yeah.
keep my stuff inside of it. But
Have you ever thought about adding a canopy to your aquarium? To hang your lights or whatever?
No. No.
No.
You mean like when people have those the open lid aquarium types?
Yeah, because every saltwater guy, if it's not a rimless or whatever, they have a little canopy and just to lift their thing, just to hide all the lighting or just to make it look nicer or whatever. Just you don't really need it, people, but add it just to go for the extra presentation.
I'm happy with this lid and the way it looks.
No, that's cool. Go ahead. I pretty much ran out of questions, but
No, that's all good, man. It was fun. There was a lot of great questions. A lot of stuff that you made me think about.
No, that's cool. I mean, you have any questions for me, or you have questions about saltwater fish, or anything? Questions that, or like the way I was gonna originally do this interview is more like cause I know a lot about, because I used to work at a pet store. I'm like, whatever you trying to get to is I'll try to help you out. Because when you said you were trying to get like all the little green grass growing and stuff, like my goal is to always try to help people get to where they want. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, if there's any questions about either saltwater fish or anything in particular, you could always ask if you have any questions.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if somebody would ask me what would I really want for this tank would be is a carpet. You know, I mean, not the whole floor to be carpeted with plants, but like I said, I don't even know which plant to get. I don't know which plant grows the best. I don't know which one carpets the best in this environment. You know, every time I see carpeted aquariums like that, they look amazing to me.
Yeah. And, to me too.
So that would be my goal if I can get that done.
Well, if you like, just send me test the pH of your water, and then I could probably send you a few samples of different plants. You could probably try to add in there. Because at least one out of the three got to take off. That's what I'm hoping for. You know what I'm saying? But I could easily help you with that for sure.
Awesome.
Also, another thing, if somebody wants to set up a little fresh or saltwater tank, how do you recommend them to start? For someone thinking about coming into the hobby?
If somebody wanted to get a freshwater tank for fish, I wouldn't go less than 20 gallons.
Yes.
That's true. Anything lower than that, I know it's backwards, because a lot of people think I'm going to start in the hobby, so I'm going to get a small aquarium. But actually, you're making it harder for yourself.
True.
Because in that small amount of water, you gotta like the fact that you have that small tank is actually impressive.
Yeah, that's
because you have living organisms. And I know people might think like, why does he have such a little tank? No, that's harder.
Yeah.
Because any fluctuation of water is instant in a small tank. So the smaller the tank, so basically somebody's gonna start in the hobby, I would suggest a 20-gallon or more. Because then the parameters don't fluctuate so fast and so rapidly or so dangerously to where you're going to kill all your fish really quick. So that would be my suggestion, is to get a 20-gallon or more.
Yeah, because in saltwater, they recommend the same thing. Go with at least a 50 or 40 or 30, the highest you could go. Because smaller ones, they're not really recommended. That makes a lot of sense. And
it's hard, because I know, like, if somebody on my end sees this video, they're going to say, why is that guy got a little tiny aquarium? I'm like, no, actually, that's impressive. The fact that you can have something that small and have living organisms in it shows your skill, actually. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because I get that wow factor also when I take it with me, and then people see it, and the coral I got in here, you didn't see the Monty because it's really hard. It's an encrusting hard coral, the reef building coral. Growing those alone in a big aquarium is really difficult, and this guy is just right there growing. And it impresses people, but like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a sales guy. I'm a salesman because I'm always trying to or a promoting machine, and I take my salt. I even show them. I even make them do a water change on my aquarium, or I'll show them how to do it. And people don't believe how easy, but difficult it really is. You know what I mean? For both fresh and salt, because most people can't even keep a plant alive. Like I would like to see maybe like a large Anubis, maybe like in the middle or something, like growing on the rock. I mean, on the log you got that. Sometimes they produce really nice root structures. I mean, there's a lot. Like I said, I just love aquariums. It doesn't even matter if it's salt or fresh, but
Yeah.
but yeah. Thank you for the comment for sure.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And then another thing, what kind of gravel do you recommend for like a new person to add to the aquarium, sand or anything like that?
Yeah, for me, it's a beginner would just be the regular gravel, not the giant pebbles, just regular aquarium gravel. You know, the basic that you'll find anywhere. Which is another thing I want to say to somebody beginning. You spend the extra money and find a real aquarium shop.
Yes.
You know,
Dedicated.
do not buy fish at Petco, at PetSmart. Accessories, filters, that's fine, you know, because you'll probably get good prices on that stuff. But you gotta understand, those big box stores do not quarantine their fish. Most of the time, they're getting fish that are sickly. That's why they're cheaper. Mm-hmm. You know, so go to a real aquarium shop to get healthy fish. Those people actually care about the fish. They actually care about the hobby.
Yes,
you know,
true.
so they're going to give you the best advice, especially if you're going to have a community tank on what gets along with what. You know, if you go to a real fish store, they're going to give you better advice on beginner fish too. There's some fish that are easier to keep alive than others.
Yeah. That's very true. And then I was gonna ask you, what what stores do? Oh, actually, there's nothing I have to say. Is there like a huge fish store near you, or?
Yeah. Actually, well, it's not huge, but it's huge in knowledge. Is Randy's Aquarium shop here in Stockton.
Okay.
That's my go-to place. They have the highest prices, but the best. You're gonna get the best because think about it. You're not just buying a fish. You're buying the knowledge they're giving you.
Yeah.
You know, and that is worth it, man. That is worth it because. That's my go-to is Randy's. Another one is Twins Aquarium, also here in Stockton. And
okay.
then my third would be Carter's. Carter's is a small chain. There's only, I think, 3 of them around here.
Uh-huh.
It's more of a pet store. They have a lot of dog and cat food and stuff like that. But I go to Carter's. But if I'm going to buy fish, it's going to be most likely at the Randy's that I was telling you about.
Randy's. Do they sell both fresh and salt, or just?
Yeah. They sell freshwater, saltwater. They sell plants. I buy all my plants there. You know, so they always get different types of plants, different plants. I just went in there yesterday, but they didn't have anything new plants. I bought a couple of mollies actually because the mollies like to eat at the algae.
Yeah.
The algae. So I grabbed a couple of those, but yeah, don't get fish store at those places because they're chances are high, especially if you're new in the hobby, that the fish are gonna die on you, or they're gonna have some kind of disease.
Oh yeah, thank you. You just brought in a whole different subject. Do you dip your fish or anything like that when you get your? Like I could show you what I use. I dip all my fish and my coral in solutions before I add them into the aquarium.
Yeah, I don't do that. What I do is, first place is I trust Randy's. I trust that fish store.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll get fish and they'll quarantine them and won't put them in a showroom until later. So that is one thing. Second thing is when I do get a fish, I never put the water of that bag into my tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So I get the fish in a net, and then I drop the fish into my tank. I don't put foreign water into my tank. So even though I trust Randy's, even though they quarantine their fish, I still don't do it. You know?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You ever?
I know a lot of hobbyists, though, hardcore hobbyists, they do have a quarantine tank. Well, if they buy a fish, they'll leave that fish in that quarantine tank for up to 3 weeks before it even gets into the tank. I don't do that. But I respect those that do that.
You know, I recommend to dip them. You never heard of dipping the fish or anything like that? No. Hold on 1 second. I'll show you. I got it right here. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna show you all the dips that I use. Okay, so this is I got two. One's called. You can buy these at the store. It's hard to see though, cause my room lights are. Hold on, Alexa, turn the lights white.
Okay.
Oh, it's hard to see still, but I buy these at Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Methylene Blue. So you can buy this at the store. You could even buy these. I think I bought these at maybe Petco or PetSmart. And this is Methylene Blue. So what you do is when you have your bag of water, you add just 1 or 2 drops, and what it does, it sterilizes the whole water and the fins of it sterilizes the whole thing. And if there's parasites on the gills of the fish, it'll kill them. Also, if your fish have like an ammonia toxic reaction or something, there's a lot of ammonia in the bag. The Methylene Blue will help the poison in the bodies of the fish. And then this is the one I always recommend to people because it provides a lot of oxygen in the water. It'll pick up a lot of oxygen. And then there's a malachite green. You could also do it at the same, but you have to use an air stone. But this one subtracts oxygen. But they both kind of do the same thing. But I always recommend the Methylene Blue so people don't kill their fish of lack of oxygen.
How long do you leave them in there?
Like anywhere from a minute to 30 minutes for however long. It doesn't really hurt the fish. Just add like 1 or 2 drops, and it'll make the water really blue. And like I said, this one really. You ever seen bags or your pet store when they get a bag come in and you see the water slightly blue? That's what this is. They add it in there to kind of prevent the ammonia, but also add more oxygen in the water and for your fish not to pick up diseases. So that's what that is. They add Methylene Blue. And for your coral, there's a coral dip. There's different coral dips, but this is iodine. I just use this to disinfect it, kind of use it like a Methylene Blue to disinfect the coral and the plug and everything. Because it's the little bit of water or water on the fish or whatever that has all the parasites or the pathogens, and like whenever I use this a lot, so I always tell people disinfect or add a little bit of a fish dip to your bag of water and basically sterilize the whole fish, and it'll prevent new diseases into your aquarium. So
That's nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so for your aquarium, that's what I would do. Just whenever you get new fish, just add a little, and you only add it to the bag of water or the bucket. Don't add it to your aquarium. Like this will sterilize the bacteria in the aquarium, and you'll get a mini cycle, and then you'll kill things. But that I highly recommend. I don't add no fish, no anything without dipping them at period. But
I'm gonna do that then.
But that's something I do recommend. Like I say, you buy it at Petco, PetSmart, Methylene Blue, Cordon, and it's really popular. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. You just glance at it, just not pay attention to it.
I've had so many people buy fish at PetSmart, and then they die or they have ick on them or something, you know.
Yeah.
I recommend people not to do it. Have I broke that rule before? Yeah, I've gone in there to buy, you know, I'll go buy fish food or something, and I'll really see a fish I really, really like.
yeah. That you got to take home.
But I try not to. When I specifically want to buy fish, I'll go to the fish stores.
No, yeah, but that's very true. In San Jose, like because I didn't grow up here in the Central Valley, but like a lot of like people in the Bay Area, all the stores. And one way they know me, whether good or bad, but they know me. And I might go to those pet stores that you just mentioned right here in the Central Valley. Because I've done the ones in Fresno. Because I'm a sales guy. I always try to get my product in every store or whatever. Or at least get my name known. And like I said, I haven't tried the ones you mentioned. So I might just try to hit them up.
Randy's, man, they're great people. It's a small store, but to me it's a big store. Because they know what they're talking about, and they really care, man. They care for you as a customer, and they care about the fish too.
No, I feel you. That's cool. Yeah, that's all I could really think of. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we get new people in the hobby. But like, what if people want to ask you questions about your aquarium or anything like that? Where could they contact you or something?
They can just email me at because I pastor a church, so at houseofrestchurch@gmail.com. House of Rest church@gmail.com.
Oh, right on. I'll even post it in the description. once I upload the video for sure.
It's something I enjoy doing. It's something I like. It's something that relaxes me, and so yeah, I don't mind if somebody has a question or needs advice. The little bit I know, I don't mind sharing.
No, that's good. But like I said, if you've been like a long time like in the hobby, like I would like to see you, like said, even if it's a small system, just get a little saltwater tank just to experiment.
Yeah.
Like I said, that would be pretty cool. Just see, cause
I can see that happening in the future.
Yeah, cause I always tell people the only aquarium you're ever really think about is one you never got. You know what I mean? Cause if people ask me, oh, what kind of fish you wish you had, man, I've kept and sold just about everything, and I only keep this one just to try to make money. Honestly, like I don't.
Yeah.
Cause honestly, if I could keep a fish, I want a breeding pair of every fish. In every single tank, you know what I mean? And that's the only fish. I want a breeding pair of everything. But since I can't have that, I could educate other people and let them have whatever fish they like and breed or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I've bred just about every fish I could breed.
But this isn't my ultimate tank I want to get is double the size. I want to get 120 gallon.
120? Yeah, the 120.
This is a 65. So, but I really can't do it in this house. So if I ever move somewhere else that has a bigger area for me to put 120, then I'll make that jump. But as long as I'm in this house, I'm renting this house, so I don't own it.
Yeah.
This is pretty much as big as this house can handle.
No, I feel you. I had a curiosity just because I sold a lot of tanks before. The 120 has the same footprint as like the 180 or the 210.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to go like a higher to get like the taller, maybe slightly wider one?
Yeah.
I think it's the same footprint actually. I think it's the same stand. It's just the height's different.
My one issue I have with this 65 is that it's so thin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good width. I like the height. It's just,
it's too narrow.
Yeah, it's narrow. That's my only one thing. But like I said, I got it at a time. I got it at a good price on Marketplace. But that's why I keep saying 120, because it'll be a lot deeper.
So nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause that's the only thing I really look for in my aquarium or saltwater tanks or any aquariums, the depth. I really love like the half moon tanks or just something with a lot of depth. More than the height. The height, I actually prefer sometimes, well, for reefs, I prefer a shallower tank, but I like the higher, wider tanks. It's just, but like tall and narrow, I don't really like them because of the oxygenation problem. Other than that, they're, like I said, I like them all though.
Yeah, and usually I have an air stone, but remember I was saying earlier that my pump went out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's why the under gravel has only one side. But usually here on this side, that white hose, the real bright, that's to an air stone. That way it kind of moves the water around for oxygen. But
Oh.
it just went out, and I haven't had a time to go get it, So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I gotta get my day started, and this was a lot of fun. I appreciate the fact that you took the time to ask me questions, and I've never done nothing about my aquarium, so.
No, I mean, I've never done an interview. It's like I feel like, I don't know. I feel like a total rookie, like totally not even know what I'm doing.
No, you did a great job. It's good. One last question. How did you know I had an aquarium? How did you know about me?
I had a recommendation on my YouTube, and then I clicked the video, and in like the first 10 seconds, he said, "Oh, I would much rather be looking at my aquarium compared to something."
Oh.
And then I just wrote, "Oh, you have a saltwater fresh," and then surprised you said you had a fresh. I'm like, oh, I didn't think it was live because a lot of people post like videos and they're not live. I mean, it's live for me, but not live for you. You get what I'm saying? It's not live. Like this video, it seems live, but it's not live.
Yeah.
But you actually said it. You had a fish tank, and then like, oh man, that's cool. Let's see what he knows. And I just wanted, since you said you could talk about fish all day, so I'm like, oh, He's been in the hobby for some time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go see what he
Cool,
knows. But that's what happened. That's really what happened.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. It's good to meet you. You know. And,
Oh yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. Oh, I'm Henry. So sorry about that.
yeah. No, it's all good.
I went with the whole episode. Like I said in my first interview, I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh man. No, but yeah, but thank you. I mean, if you have any more questions, you definitely ask me. But that's how I met you. But
Yeah. If I have other questions, I'll message you and get a hold of you, and I appreciate it.
yeah, definitely. But thank you, David. And thanks everybody if you made it through. And yeah, it was a pretty interesting topic. But yeah, all right, David. But I'll let you go. Thank you for everything.
All right, man.
All right, thank you.